Tonight, a teenage boy is dead in a hit and run in East York. Police say he was intentionally run down.
It sounded like it was right outside my door, to be honest.
It's scary because I'm trying to raise my family in this neighborhood.
Police are releasing images tonight of the vehicle they think is responsible, as well as descriptions of the suspects. Plus,
Yes, it should not be happening. The kids should feel safe.
a 14-year-old student is fatally stabbed outside a school in Hamilton, his mother by his side. And a debate double booking. Supporters of two different political parties both reserved rooms in the same bar to watch their leaders face off. And that is where we begin tonight. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. All six federal party leaders battled it out in the official English language debate in Gatineau, Quebec. The two-hour debate coming exactly 2 weeks before voting day. The debate featured 5 moderators, including our own Rosemary Barton, and it covered off 5 segments: affordability, environment and energy, Indigenous issues, leadership and Canada on the world stage, and polarization, human rights and immigration. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer came out swinging in the opening moments of the debate, calling Liberal leader Justin Trudeau a fraud.
Justin Trudeau only pretends to stand up for Canada. You know, he's very good at pretending things. He can't even remember how many times he put blackface on. Mr. Trudeau, you are a phony and you are a fraud and you do not deserve to govern this country.
The way I have worked for Canadians is around investing in them, unlike the vision that you're putting forward of giving tax breaks that help people who are making $400,000 a year, $400,000 a year, more than someone making $40,000 a year. You're offering a $50,000 tax break, which is more money than most Canadians earn, to the wealthiest Canadians with your plan. Of course, we don't entirely know your plan because you haven't released your costed platform yet, which I think is a disrespect to every Canadian watching tonight.
Platform?
Our costed platform came out too.
A very lively debate right off the bat. Now, people in Toronto gathered to watch this city, watch right across the city. We actually found some Green Party members and Liberal Party members gathered at the same bar on the Danforth. That opened up a debate of their own. Our Angelina King reports.
One bar, two parties, a lively debate, and a political coincidence.
Happened rather serendipitously. We booked this room thinking this is a key part of our community.
We wanted a great local establishment that was close to the office.
For both parties, that meant the same neighborhood pub to watch tonight's leaders' debate.
Well, there was a distinct divide. The Green Party watching the debate up here and the Liberals downstairs. Supporters from both sides say ultimately it's a good thing.
I think it's great. I think it's very reflective of the kind of future that we could have as Canadians that's less divided between parties and more cooperative.
It's nice. I think it's great that we're both here. We're all members of the same community.
Our opinions are much different on many, many issues. I think at least being in the same room says something about we're going to be working with these people within 2 weeks.
If we can come together as Canadians and, despite our political differences, share common grounds, break bread together, that's the beauty of Canada, right, at the end of the day.
Even the candidates shared a few words, and as they watched their own leaders face off, they commented on the importance of the debate.
Going door to door, people are saying they want information, they want to be educated, and this is probably the most powerful opportunity for people to find out what each party deals with and what their platforms are. I think it's an incredible, pivotal moment.
I think that the debate is important for getting people to really hear what all the leaders have to say about the issues and ultimately, build on what they've seen, all the work that we've done in the past, over the past 4 years, and the progress that we're planning for the future.
The debate, a sort of primer for them. After sharing the bar tonight, they'll be sharing a stage at 3 local debates this week. The first is tomorrow. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, tonight's debate ran 2 hours. As we said, it covered a wide range of topics, and you can get caught up on all the highlights and analysis online. Just head to cbc.ca. Turning now to a fatal hit and run that happened this morning in East York, killing a teenage boy. Police say it was intentional, and tonight they're releasing information on the suspects and the vehicle they think was involved. They released these images of the vehicle tonight. It's described as a black 4-door small SUV. They don't know the make or model, but say there is damage to the front of the vehicle. And police believe 2 men were in the car. The driver is described as being white, between 20 and 35 years old, with a round face, anywhere from 5'10" to 5'11", with short to balding hair. The passenger is described as white with short to balding hair, with a similar weight and height as the driver. And that accident has left the community and the family of the victim in shock. Farah Morali has more from the scene.
I'm here on Bracebridge and Cedarvale, and this is where the teen was struck early this morning. We know from police that he was followed, there was some kind of altercation, and he was intentionally hit. What we don't know is why. So to take you back, it all started around 2 a.m. when police got a call about a person being seriously injured. When they arrived, they found a teen on the ground. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. But hours after the incident, there was still a heavy police presence. That's when we learned that this was not just a hit-and-run investigation, but rather a homicide investigation. Police confirmed that the boy was intentionally hit. Now, police sources have told CBC that the boy was seen running away from the vehicle when he was hit. Now, we spoke to one witness who was out walking his dog early this morning around the time this all happened, and he said he was approached by a dark-colored SUV. Here's what he had to say.
Black truck came along this way with the speed, 2 people inside, and the passenger asked me if I see a young boy running around in the area. I said no. And they used some obscene language and say that I think they broke into her vehicle and left the door open. They leave my effing car door open. That's what exact words they said. And they speed around, went that way, and I continued to walk that way.
Now, we're learning more about the victim as well. A woman by the name of Gertrude Drever came to the scene this evening saying that her grandson is the victim. His name is Matthew Drever. She said that he was 16 years old, didn't live in this neighborhood, and doesn't know what happened or why. Here's more of what she had to say to me.
You 2 people that run down my son like an animal, you know, where's your compassion? What were you thinking when you saw this young kid? What were your intentions? You could have got out and talked to him or something instead of running him over like a dog. I hope you go to jail. You ever hear of karma? Karma will come back to you one way or another.
As for the investigation, police are still canvassing the area for more surveillance footage. They're asking anyone who may have seen what happened to contact them. Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
And a 14-year-old boy is dead after he was assaulted outside his school in Hamilton. What makes this even more disturbing is that he was attacked while his mother was beside him. Police providing an update late tonight. They have 3 suspects in custody, including another 14-year-old boy, and they are searching for 2 more.
It should be known that this incident was captured on video. We are in possession of that. We will locate these outstanding suspects, and I'll take this opportunity now to ask them to turn themselves in. We will identify these people, and it's in their best interest to contact perhaps a lawyer, get some legal advice, and then come and see us.
The teen was a student at Sir Winston Churchill Secondary. Police say they originally responded to a serious assault around 1:30 this afternoon. The boy was rushed to hospital, but died a few hours later. Well, was school as usual this morning after the province and CUPE reached a deal last night, averting a strike that would have closed hundreds of schools. But as Lisa Shing tells us, that doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be labor peace in GTA schools.
After a weekend of worry, parents packed lunches and sent their little ones to school today.
You know, the kids are a little disappointed, but you know, any kind of break in the routine is not good.
Wondering who is going to take day off, how we're going to manage all this. So we're glad that they're back.
With just hours to go until the deadline, the union representing 55,000 education support staff inked a deal with the province that includes a modest wage increase, a renewal of a fund put in place in 2018 to hire more staff and teachers, the same sick day package, 11 fully paid days and short-term leave at 90%, and a $20 million funding increase.
We didn't give up anything.
And that could help teachers in their ongoing negotiations.
Well, I think, we've set some groundwork for them to have some really good conversations.
And I will continue
to focus on landing deals in good faith that keep your kid in class.
But can the government keep that promise? This former deputy education minister says it will be tough.
Is low-hanging fruit, just from a financial point of view. Well, there's a difference between millions of dollars and almost $1 billion required to walk back some of the damage that the government has done.
Namely class sizes, which the government said it's increasing over the next few years, a controversial move the teachers' unions and many parents oppose.
I can imagine that, yeah, it's not over, unfortunately.
We're still really concerned about the increase in class sizes.
I just hope that the government can realize what a tough job that teachers are doing.
On the other hand, the deficit is actually closer to $7 billion instead of the $15 billion the PCs originally said it was. So it seems like there could be a bit of wiggle room in the government's budget to give the teachers what they want. Lisa Sheng, CBC News, Toronto.
Colette Kennedy's here with her first look at the forecast. No debate tonight, Colette. We've got a nice forecast on tap.
Yeah, that's one thing I think we can agree on is the weather. It's looking really good for us, Mike. And it's not just a short-term thing. This is a weather pattern. It's one of these things with high pressure when you get a really strong ridge and it sets up. It's going to be very helpful in terms of getting some good weather. Now, there's a few things that happen with the nights getting a bit cool. We'll get into that. It wasn't cool today. 18 degrees, our unofficial high. And of course, I'll just remind you at this time of year, about 16 would be seasonal. So yeah, a little mild. Overnight tonight, though, with those clear conditions, we do have frost advisories off towards the west and to the northwest of the GTA in some of those lower lying areas, places that are prone to seeing frost. That risk is there. Otherwise, though, sunshine comes back into play. It'll be cool to start the day off, but we'll warm up pretty quickly, and then we go into that pattern. Again, temperatures changing a little bit, though, so you will have to come back, tune in a little later, and I'll show you what those temperatures will look like over the next few days, but I can tell you overnight tonight, it's 5 degrees, and the high tomorrow with all that sunshine, Mike, will be 18.
Okay, thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Really want to exercise my right to vote.
First time voting, yeah, just turned 18. That's cool.
Sure is. Coming up, they make up the largest block of eligible voters this election. Now the push is on to get millennials to cast their ballots. About 20 protesters got arrested by Toronto police this afternoon, bringing to an end a climate protest that began during the morning rush hour, shutting down traffic on the Bloor Viaduct. You could hear those fellow protesters cheering as members of the group Extinction Rebellion were led away in handcuffs by police. The group blocked the Bloor Viaduct starting around 8 a.m. this morning, forcing police to divert traffic. The group says these types of protests are necessary to try to bring attention to what they're calling a climate crisis.
What's happened in politics right now is that they've been taken over and they're highly partisan. So decisions aren't necessarily made that's good for the public. People are playing politics. So citizens' assemblies are designed to give voice to the people, to bring democracy back to the people.
Police managed to reopen the road around 1:30. Similar climate demonstrations took place in cities across Canada. With tonight's English language debate out of the way, we're now just 2 weeks away from election night. This election, the largest block of eligible voters will be, for the first time, people born between 1980 and 2000, the so-called millennials. Tonight, Shannon Martin looks at some of the efforts being taken to make sure they show up at the ballot box.
Do you have a driver's license or a student card with you?
Yes.
Great. I'll walk you to the polls now.
There's that old notion that young people are apathetic, but check out this lineup.
I really want to exercise my right to vote.
First time voting, yeah, I've just turned 18. That's cool.
This election, young people may hold the most power. According to Abacus data, people born between 1980 and 2000 make up the largest block of eligible voters. And they have plenty to say.
I think student debt is also a big thing.
But there's also climate change, just that it's just this, like this constant threat, you know? I want a future, you know what I mean? I don't want that taken away because, you know, whatever politician doesn't care about that.
I really feel like people should take us more seriously. We are the biggest voting bloc now, you know, the millennials, so we kind of count. So please, you know, do things that don't just benefit people that have different perspectives because they're older from a different time. Think of us too.
Feeling unheard and often left out. This advocate is part of a nonpartisan group called Future Majority. For weeks, youth volunteers have been visiting schools just listening.
We have on-campus polling right now for 3 days. Thousands of students are going to be voting across the country. This is huge. Where are the politicians? They're not here communicating their issues and their platforms with us.
I'll grab like 2 of these. What's surreal about it is the fact that it's possible. Like a year and a half ago, I was studying this stuff, and then wild.
That's crazy. Do you know them?
No.
Sean Manners put his PhD on hold to jump into politics. The 29-year-old is running for the Greens and is the youngest name on the ballot. Woo! For Beaches East York. Some young people, yeah, they can connect with you. They see somebody talking about what they care about, and hopefully it energizes them.
Yes, yes. I mean, one of the largest things that I think has been a draw for young people is they need hope. And if you aren't in university right now and you're looking for hope, you're not seeing it anywhere. If they want to see change, which is what I'm hearing, I'm here to let you guys know you really need to get out and vote.
So the question is, will they turn up when it matters most? And they certainly did last election, the Liberals taking the lion's share of the millennial vote. Polls at campuses like this one are open until October 9th. Shannon Martin, CBC News, Toronto.
And to keep the conversation going about the power young voters have, CBC Toronto is bringing together a group of undecided and first-time voters to discuss why it's important that they go to the ballot box. My colleague Dwight Drummond will host the discussion at the Mars Discovery District. You can find details on how to attend on our CBC Toronto Facebook page. We'll also be streaming the discussion on Twitter and Facebook, and you can join the conversation there. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
The Leafs hosting the St. Louis Blues tonight. The defending Stanley Cup champions getting on the board first. Oscar Sundqvist gets one under the glove of Frederik Andersen. Makes it 1-0. But just 3 minutes later, Jason Spezza gets a puck out in front. Freddie Gauthier brings it home. That ties the game. Then just 24 seconds after that, thanks to some incredible passing you see right here, Toronto takes the lead again. William Nylander gets the credit for this particular goal. He's happy about it. But St. Louis would tie it and then go ahead in the third and hold on to defeat the Leafs 3-2. Kyle Lowry is sticking around with the Raptors for at least 2 more years. He agreed to a 1-year, $31 million extension with the team. That's about $2 million less than he's making this year as part of the final year of a $100 million contract with the team. The deal gives the Raptors more flexibility going into the summer of 2021 when many free agents are expected to be on the market. Colette is back with her extended forecast. Chilly start to the day tomorrow, but it's going to warm up nicely.
It is going to be kind of a cool start. That's right. We'll get the sunshine in here, and that helps the temperature to go up. But when we're talking about overnight lows around the region, some of them 4 or 5 degrees, it means even at about 8 a.m., we may still be sitting at about 6 or maybe 7. So that's a little bit on the cool side, definitely in those single digits. Because it's cool tonight, more sunshine to come, though, not just for tomorrow, but beyond that as well. And the temperatures, they are going to fluctuate a little bit, but in every case, they're going to be generally near seasonal values. Well, what is seasonal? An average high this time of year, just a tiny bit over 16 degrees. So still pretty nice at this time into October when you do have seasonal conditions. And an average low right around, hey, where we're going to be tonight, that's 5.3. So it's a ridge of high pressure that's building in. We talk about high pressure a lot in terms of it being an air mass where you're getting sinking air. It's very stable. It tends to block other things. But this is a pretty massive ridge and is going to hang in there for a while. So you can see the cloud deck and the precipitation off to the east of us. You can see some action, at least trying to make its way from the west towards us. But hanging in there over the Great Lakes is that ridge of high pressure. And even though the center of the ridge begins to slide off, it's so large and dominant that doesn't really have much of an impact. As we get towards the end of the week, then we get a little more cloud cover coming in, and there will be some showers that you know it will be returning, but we've got time for that. So we've got a few great days ahead of us. Perhaps a little patchy fog. There is that potential. Otherwise, clear skies for southwestern Ontario and your lows of 3 to 5 degrees for you in Windsor. Tomorrow afternoon, 19 to 20 for the highs as you creep a little closer towards the GTA, like as you say, as you go towards London. Just a tiny bit cooler with high of about 18. And we'll see overnight tonight. Again, that risk of frost I mentioned earlier, but that's to the northwest of the GTA where there are some advisories. Otherwise, 3 to 5 degrees. And then a beautiful day for Tuesday with that sunshine and some really great temperatures. It's going to feel good because the winds won't be as breezy as they were today. That's for Tuesday. I will tell you as we get towards Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, winds will pick up. And Mike, at this point anyway, it looks like the next best chance for showers comes as we get towards the end of the week and into the weekend, frankly.
Just in time for the weekend.
Thanks. Of course, always.
Thanks a lot, Colette.
You're welcome.
Oh, meet China's newest lion cubs. Now, this pair is doubly rare. They're twins, and they're both white lions. The zoo is ecstatic as white lions apparently very difficult to breed in captivity, and there are only a handful left in the wild. Zookeepers will monitor them in isolation for now, but as soon as they're strong enough, they'll go back to mom and dad. Now, there's some priceless masterworks dating back to the 16th century on display as part of the Art Gallery of Ontario's latest exhibition. Now, drawing from collections around the world, it is borrowing works by Flemish painter Peter Paul Rubens.
He turns convention on its ear. He transforms storytelling, but they're extraordinary, and they're coming to Toronto for the first and last time in our lifetimes.
It has taken the gallery months of delicate negotiations to pull this exhibit together, in some cases promising to do restoration work in exchange for displaying these priceless works. We can actually put a price on one painting at the heart of the exhibit. The Massacre of the Innocents is actually part of the gallery's permanent collection. Ken Thompson bought it in early 2000 for $115 million, then donated it to the AGO. The show opens to the public this weekend. Make sure I check that out. That's our show for tonight. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.